Good morning, science friends. Or it's morning here. It may not be where you are and when you are watching this video, but I hope you're having a good day nonetheless. And in this film, we are going to look at Earth science terms. This is the second time I've recorded this video. The first time I recorded, I had not turned on the microphone, so that's why some of these are already highlighted, the morphemes, but we will get to those because I know on your sheet they're not highlighted yet. So as we come to them, I will still treat them as though this is the first time I've recorded this video. So if you are following along in the text, I actually am not sure which page we are looking at. Let me back up just a little bit. I'm thinking page 35 or somewhere in that area will start the text for these terms. If we go forward, yes, somewhere between 35 to 45 in that area, you should find these terms. So let's take a look at this first one. I will give you the sound spelling for some of these because I know they're a little difficult to pronounce. This one is, whoops, I'm still on the shape tool, so let me try that again. Asthene, sphere, and actually I need to put my S with sphere. And we've already, I think, highlighted the word sphere before. This is a morpheme. A sphere is a ball. Asthenosphere. Asthenosphere is a layer of the Earth that lies about 50 miles below the surface. And when we do the diagram of the Earth, you will see where that is in the diagram. So this is pronounced asthenosphere. Asthenosphere. And let's make sure that we have sphere on our list of morphemes. Actually, I'm going to do the morphemes all at one time. So we'll get that in just a minute, and that way I won't have to switch back and forth on you. Okay, atmosphere. This is probably one that you've heard before. This is atmosphere. I'm spelling the word and not the sound spelling. This is not spear, it's sphere. Atmosphere is an envelope, or a blanket is another way to think of this. An envelope of gases surrounding the Earth. And we will do a diagram of the atmosphere as well. So it is an envelope or a blanket of gases surrounding the Earth. Axis. Axis is an imaginary line from north to south through the center of the Earth. And I'm going to draw you a picture of this one. And this is going to be, if this is the Earth, which it's not, it's two-dimensional. Earth is three-dimensional. This is a circle, not a sphere. But I can't draw a sphere, so I'm going to have to go with the circle. The axis line, remember, it runs north to south. So that would be the axis. It's a line that it's imaginary that runs through the center of the Earth. The core is the innermost, so the inside, the innermost layer of the Earth. And you need to know that the core has two parts. The inner core and the outer core. And when we do our diagram of the Earth, we will look at both of those. The crust, just like a pizza crust, the crust is the outermost layer of the Earth. It's very thin compared to the others. If you think of the Earth as a boiled egg, this is the shell. It's that very thin, breakable piece that surrounds the outer edge of the Earth. The exosphere. 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 And you have two morphemes here. You have exo and sphere. And we will check that list in just a second. The exosphere is the highest part of Earth's atmosphere. You are going to see that the atmosphere has 5 layers and the exosphere is the 5th layer. The highest part of Earth's atmosphere. Hydrosphere. Hydrosphere. Some people pronounce this hydrosphere. Hydrosphere. I think either is appropriate. Hydrosphere is the sphere, the ball, that contains all of Earth's water. Hydro means water. So the hydrosphere is the ball that contains all of Earth's water. You may notice that I am capitalizing Earth sometimes and not others. And I will tell you that we used to have a planetarium in Blount County where you could go and look at the stars projected on the dome of it was a special kind of theater that you could go to and study the stars. And the gentleman who ran the planetarium was a certified astronomer. He had been to school for many years. And I asked him about capitalizing Earth because I've seen it both ways. And he told me that it's acceptable either way. That you can capitalize Earth or you can not capitalize, whatever you feel that you want to do. So you will see me doing that interchangeably, but I did ask about that, and he told me, at least his account is that it's appropriate to do either one. Same with the sun and the moon. Okay, the next one is lithosphere. So we have sphere. And again, some people pronounce that lithosphere, but I was taught lithosphere. So I'm using the schwa sound in there to make that sound. The lithosphere is the upper part of the mantle and crust. So this has to do with the earth proper. And when we do our diagram, you will see the mantle and the crust and the lithosphere. It is the upper part of the mantle and the crust. The next term here is magma. 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 It's exactly what it looks like. It's rock that exists in a semi-solid. Semi means half or part. Semi-solid means it's kind of solid, but it's kind of liquid. It's in between. Rock that exists in a semi-solid state in the mantle. And I want you to know that magma is sort of the consistency of very thick syrup. It is melted or molten. Sometimes you see the word molten. Just means melted. It's semi-solid. Very, very hot. Mesosphere. Mesosphere. You could use an S there, but I like the Z because it's closer to the sound that I'm looking for, or you may call that a Z. Mesosphere is the word. Meso means middle, and sphere means ball. So mesosphere is the third highest level of the atmosphere. Remember, there are 5 levels, and this is the middle one. It's the third one of the atmosphere. Okay, I want to go to that page of morphemes and make sure that we have all of these on there. We have sphere, exo, hydro, and meso that we need to make sure are on our list of morphemes. So let's zoom in here. Sphere, I think I've already got those written in. Here's sphere. There's exo, hydro, and meso. So those are already in my list of morphemes. If they're not in yours, you can stop your film right here and put these 4 in there. Again, we're looking at these that need to be added if you haven't already done that. Because again, I'm recording this video for the second time. So I had already listed those, and you can stop the film and record them if you would like. Okay, back to the text. I'm on page 13, I do believe. Yeah, actually page 14. Excuse me. And again, I have drawn some pictures here because I have recorded this for the second time, and I did not want to draw them again. So if you want to freeze the camera, the movie, and draw these in, that's fine, or you can do them as we go, whatever you would like to do. The term is revolution, and you may have seen this term in social studies to refer to a war, but this is revolution. Revolution. It is the path of an object around another object. And I've drawn you a picture, a very rough sketch of our solar system. The sun is the center of the solar system. That's what solar means. So you have the sun here in the middle. And then I have drawn 4 of the planets from the sun. So you notice, first of all, I hope, that these are not perfectly circular orbits. The planets are not orbiting in a circle. They are orbiting in an ellipse. Okay? So this is an elliptical orbit. An ellipse is an oval. So it is an elliptical orbit for all the planets, and this is what creates our change in seasons. It has a lot to do with life on Earth. If the orbits were perfectly round, those factors would be different. So the fact that there is an elliptical orbit is very important to how we live our lives. I want to give you the planets and their orbits in Earth days. And you know that an Earth day is 24 hours. So we're measuring this in terms of the days that we are familiar with. The first planet next to the sun is Mercury. Then we have Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and scientists have now decided that Pluto is no longer a planet. Pluto does not meet the current definition of a planet. So I've included Pluto, but I've separated her from the others. And you notice that these are capitalized. If you are referring to the names of the planets in this form, it would be appropriate to capitalize them. So, how long does it take Earth to make one orbit around the sun? And we would be looking at this particular orbit. Earth is the third planet from the sun. So we would be looking at this ring. How long does it take Earth to make that one full rotation? How many days? Well, it takes 365 1/4 days to do that. And these are Earth days. So these are the days that you and I know so well. The 1/4 is made up every 4 years as a leap year. So every 4 years we add an extra day to make up for that 1/4. So really what I'm saying here is that it takes 365 1/4 of 24, which is 6. It takes 365 days and 6 hours for Earth to make that one full rotation. So when we look at these, Mercury and Venus have smaller orbits, so their numbers will be less than 365. And then as we go out into the solar system, that orbital time is going to increase. Mercury takes 88 Earth days to make one full orbit around the sun. Venus is 225. Mars is almost double Earth's time. Mars takes 686 days to make a full orbit. Look at Jupiter. Much, much longer. Saturn takes 10,753 days to make one full orbit. Uranus takes 30,664 days to make one full orbit. Neptune is 60,148 days. And Pluto is 90,735 days. Two reasons for this chart. First of all, I do not want you to memorize these numbers. That is not important. I want you to see the trend, though, that as you move out from the sun, that orbit time increases. The ellipse gets bigger as you move out into the solar system. And we're basing this on Earth days. So that does not mean that a day on one of these planets is 24 hours. We are just measuring in terms that we understand. So your headers on this diagram are planets and Earth days. This is called a row. It goes across the page. The columns go up and down, or down actually. So you have two columns here. You have planets and the Earth day orbits. You have 9 rows plus the title row for a total of 10. And this is called a table. It's used to compare, show you data in a visual form. Okay, rotating. Remember, I showed you a picture just a minute ago of this line. Do you remember what that's called? That is an axis line. So rotating is the turning of an object on its axis. And just out of curiosity, and also to show you how to do a quick internet search, how fast do you think Earth is spinning on her axis? How fast is Earth turning around that axis line? To find that answer, let me show you again how to do an internet search. I'm just going to Google how fast Earth on axis. You don't even have to type in word for word, because here it will give you the different options. I'm going to click on that question. And again, make sure that what your source is reliable, that you get a scientific source. This is a .org source, astrosociety.org. So that makes me think that it's a little more reliable than some that we could find. But let's read this. It says, to make one complete rotation in 24 hours, a point near the equator of the Earth must move at close to 1,000 miles per hour, or 1,600 kilometers per hour. The speed gets less as you move north, but it's still a good clip throughout the United States. So we are spinning around the axis at 1,000 miles an hour. So the next question might be this one. Why don't we feel it? Why don't we feel that movement? We can't feel Earth rotating because we're all moving with it at the same constant speed. Earth spins on its axis once in every 24-hour day. And here's confirmation that at the equator, the speed of Earth is about 1,000 miles an hour. So if you need to know something like that, you can find it. Just make sure that you're looking at a reliable source. Okay? All right, so this is telling me how long each planet takes to rotate. In terms of hours. So rotation in hours. And we know Earth, let's list our planets again. We have Mercury. So this column is giving me the planet names. Venus, Earth, and I know her time is 24 hours. Mars, Jupiter, Uranus. No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Saturn. There was a crash outside and I was distracted for just a minute. I'm so sorry. Uranus, Neptune, and remember Pluto is no longer officially a planet, but we will put Pluto in because some of us learned that Pluto is a planet. Okay, Mercury. This is very interesting. Mercury takes 1,406 hours to make one turn. So Mercury is not spinning as fast. It takes it longer. Venus, on the other hand, is 5,832 hours. Mars is very close to Earth. It's 25 hours. Jupiter is 9.84 hours, so almost 10. Saturn is 10.8. Uranus is 17.28. Neptune is 16.08, so right about 16. And Pluto is 153.36. And again, you don't need to memorize these. This is just to give you practice looking at rows and columns. This is a row. The columns are your planets and your hours. And this whole thing is called a table. Okay, we are almost finished. We have seasons to do. The seasons in order are spring, summer, fall or autumn, either way is fine, and winter. You never capitalize the seasons unless they're the first words of sentences or in titles, but you do not capitalize the seasons. Stratosphere, sphere, is the second highest layer of the atmosphere. The second highest layer. Stratosphere is important to life as we know it. And when we get to the diagram, we will look at that in much more detail. Thermosphere. Therm means heat. So thermosphere is the fourth highest layer of the atmosphere. So if you're on the earth looking up, you go 4 layers out and you have the thermosphere. Okay, the last term, finally, is the troposphere. Troposphere is the lowest layer or level. So this is the layer that is immediately around us. This is where our weather occurs. Okay, let's go back to our morphemes. We already have sphere, but we need to add therm. So if you go back to that list of morphemes, and here is therm. right there. The Thermosphere. Therm means heat. So if you don't have that one already, go ahead and add that to your list of morphemes. Okay, that brings us to the end of the earth science terms. The next thing will be the diagram of the earth, which will help you to see these terms in a visual form. That always helped me. So I will see you in the next video for that diagram. And I hope you have a wonderful day.